Remember how I said my brother is now driving my mom's HHR? Well, they got tired of dealing with that crap and the fact that it doesn't want to start. So they went out and bought a 2002 Honda Civic. And it's just another piece of crap. Look at the battery terminals with duct tape on them. Okay, the bumper, complete bumper is held on with drywall screws. He came here for an oil change, but I spent the last 2 hours trying to get the hood open because it wouldn't latch, because the thing was completely destroyed, so I had to cut it. All this is gonna have to get replaced. So to also need a new latch. And then when we finally got it open, it turns out that the metal where the bolt would thread into was completely torn out. So I had to go and weld stuff back in there so we could have something to thread into, and I'm just about finished. As you can see, I got the 2 bolts right there, and that's the one that tore out, so I had to weld some stuff behind it, and it's nice and secure now. And I'm actually about to test to see if the hood can latch on. About to test that right now. As far as the inside, the driver's seat was missing one bolt, so the whole seat would flop back and forth. So it's a real specific bolt for these seats. So what I ended up doing is freaking pulling the bolt off of the CRX right there for one of the seats on the CRX, and I put it on his car. I told him I want my damn bolt back. So the seat's nice and sturdy now. It doesn't rock back and forth. The car has a ton of other issues. He said, oh, it drives good. No, this thing's a legit piece of shit. But you know, it came in for a simple oil change, which I already done, and here I am welding stuff on it just to get the hood to latch down. So I just got the hood to latch, and the hood doesn't fit right. You can see there's a big old gap on both sides, and the reason for that is just like 2 days after owning the car, someone backed into him, one of his friends or something, and completely like shoved the hood back, and I think that's what tore out you know, the piece for the hood latch. So anyways, it's latched down. That's the most important part, the safety issue, right? And if we go ahead and pull our magic string right here, boom, and we can now open the hood without any issues. So that's the most important part. I'm glad that's fixed, and it latches down pretty easy. There it goes, latched in now. So we need to order, honestly, you could probably get away with using the same latch, but if they're cheap, we'll just buy a new one. But it definitely needs a new cable going inside the car. Fender liners are missing from the front left side, maybe even that side too, I'm not sure. Look at the headlight, look what it's held on with. Piece of plastic and some drywall screws to hold the headlight on. You know this engine has had zero maintenance done to it. Looking at the condition of the body of the car, zero maintenance done to this thing. I see it has what looks to be, no, I was gonna say they're Duralast ignition coils, but not even that. These are just like cheap Chinese Ching Chong Bing Bong ignition coils, no name eBay stuff. Look at the fluid here. Oh my god. Look at the master. First of all, there's a giant hole right there on top. That can't be good, right? Oh jeez. Fluid is blacker than ever. Alright. Not even surprised. The belts on this thing look all old and dry rotted. Oil leaks. I'm sure this air filter is destroyed. So we're gonna go ahead and order some parts. I'm gonna see if I can still get a new latch, if I could find a good quality one. New cable, and even a new pulling device, because I don't know if they're part of it or it's separate. We'll run it into the car how it's supposed to be. For now, he's gonna have to open the hood like this until we get the new parts. As far as the duct tape on the battery, I'm not sure what's going on here, why this was done. Let's see what kind of mess hack job we got going on here. The connections under here look decent, nothing crazy that I'm noticing. Sprayed them down with some CRC real fast, but I think the reason why this tape was here is because if we look at the hood right here, that looks like maybe the positive post. So I think something's going on here. I don't know if it's this battery that doesn't belong in this car or what's going on, but I think they're having issues with the positive post grounding on the hood. So I think I'm gonna end up putting tape back on it. I can't think of any other reason why there would be tape wrapped around both of the posts like that. So since they used to pull the cable from inside the car, of course, people always got pliers in the car, right? So I found both of these in here, and you know, this is what they could use. Honestly, they're not gonna need this because there's no more cable to pull, and next time it comes here, it's gonna get a brand new one, so he won't even need this. But I found this in here. I don't know what brand it is, but it says USA made, and they look and feel nice quality. I'm gonna go ahead and confiscate these. So I just used my new tool that I confiscated to crimp on this little end right here. I went ahead and cut it so it's not so long. Crimp that on so the cable doesn't start to fray. And now he has something, at least temporarily, to go ahead and open up the hood. That simple. Alright, so it's gonna do nicely. At least for now, it's just a band-aid, and then we'll get this thing fixed right. Alright, so here's these crimping pliers that I found in my brother's Civic. Probably talked about these, but I can't remember. The thing is, within these past few days, I've had 3 different phones. So I'm kind of lost on what's been recorded, what hasn't been recorded. On my last video, I said I got a new phone, and then someone asked me about it. I got another LG, but that didn't last very long because that phone gave me problems. It was the Stylo 6, gave me problems very fast, and it was just problems I shouldn't have to deal with a brand new phone. So I got rid of it, and now I have a Galaxy A32 or whatever the heck it is. Anyway, this one seems to be working, and I'm liking this phone a lot better. So here's the pliers I got out of my brother's car, and after letting them sit in some evapor rust for like 3 days, you can see they clean up very nicely. And yes, they are snap-on. It's very hard to see, but you could slightly see the S right there. There was some rust on it, and I couldn't really tell what brand it was, but the second I picked them up and when they were in my brother's car, I just knew. I was like, I don't know what brand these are, but they feel like quality pliers. So I told him I'm keeping these, and I'm glad to see that they cleaned up very nicely, and they are going to be put to use. Another thing that I bought that I was complaining about my new parts washer was how the stream was kind of strong, and it just kind of goes everywhere. You really got to be careful where you're aiming it. So I found this thing online after watching a few YouTube videos, and people say get one of these. It's a must-have. So it just kind of pushes right onto here. It's more like a friction fit, and then once you turn it on, all of a sudden there is no mess, there is no splashing anywhere because it's all contained inside of the bristles right there. And you could clean, and you're not gonna have that mess like you did before when it's spraying directly out of here. So this is an absolute win, and I love this thing. So I'm liking the parts washer even more now. We're back in my brother's car. It's like 2 weeks later. We got some parts for like basic tune-up: air filter, cabin air filter, spark plugs, new hood latch, and a new hood cable right there. We're also going to get a new front right headlight, which now they're going to be mismatched because this one's going to look brand new, this one's going to look all faded. But the guy who backed into him is the one that paid for the headlight, and of course, you know, someone who hits you isn't going to pay for more than they have to, so he's going to have one wonky looking headlight. He also wanted me to put a new radio on it, like a touchscreen crap, but he forgot to bring me the radio kit, so that's not going to happen. At least I don't think so. But what I'm seeing here is a problem already is the cable that I left exposed right here. I didn't leave it out far enough, and it seems to have tucked away inside of here. So now I have to fight with this freaking hood again to get it open. Took a few minutes, but I was able to fish it out. Here goes the cable right here. Boom. Alright, let's get this party started. Here goes the old air filter. Not horrible, but not great. When I first took this out the box, I was like, what the hell, is this thing broken? It's the first time I ever changed air filter on one of these, and this is definitely a weird design. So let's pop this in and move on to the next thing. So I just pulled out the cabin air filters, and once again, this is a weird design. It's got 2 filters sitting right next to each other. You got to slide the first one out and then slide the second one to the left and then pour it out. What's up with the air filters on this car? Honda engineers are really putting in overtime, huh? It's funny. Anyway, you can see both of these air filters say Honda on the side. I guarantee you this thing has never been to a dealer for anything. So these are most likely the original air filters from when the car was made. Look how nasty they are. Yeah, this is the air that you breathe in. That's horrible. So let's chuck those out. We have a new set right here. Let's pop them in, and that should be all set for this part. We'll move on to the next thing. In most cases, whenever you're taking apart a Honda, you usually have your magnetic tray full of a bunch of 10 mils, right? Because it's a Honda. No, in this case, we have a bunch of drywall screws. This whole car is held together with drywall screws. Yee, look at this bad boy. This thing is ready for next Fast and Furious movie. While I got the bumper off, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the hood latch and the hood cable. Just makes it a little bit easier with the bumper out of the way. So let me go ahead and knock this out. So I got the new latch installed as well as the cable ran and it's connected inside the car. So let's go ahead and lock the hood. It's completely latched down now. Let's go inside the car and open up the hood. Now I still have to put this trim back together. All right, hood just popped open. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop the front bumper back on the car and let's finish up with doing the spark plugs. I got the bumper back on the car, all of it's put back together. 2 of the ignition cords are out and we have 2 that are winner winner chicken dinner. This thing is making queefs. Full of oil inside of here, so it needs a valve cover gasket set. Let's see how much oil is in here. Not really enough that I have to suck any of it out. You guys know what I mean, with my mouth of course. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the spark plugs. We'll put the new ones in and let the smoke show begin. So I can actually see why these 2 are leaking. If you look inside of here, you see the gasket, the lip is rolled over on it, and so is this one. It's not fully seated. Basically, this is installer error. Whoever the hell was in here last just did a shit job. So everything is put back together, got the new spark plugs in it. Now these 2 spark plugs right here, when I went to remove them, they were very loose. Everything's torqued down just how it should be. And we are good to close the hood and pretty much start this bad boy up. Make sure we got it in neutral so we don't start doing burnouts as soon as we turn the car on. Oh, there goes the smoke. I see the smoke now starting to fill up inside the garage. So there goes our smoke show from the oil getting into the cylinder. It's probably got an exhaust leak somewhere. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop the hood one more time just because it feels so right that it actually works. Perfect. Since he just got the car had temporary plates on it and I took that off, and I'm gonna put on his actual plates. And I took off these self-tapping screws that were in here. Look at this mess. Look at this garbage of a mess. Who does this, man? What's wrong with people? Shit like this drives me crazy. So freaking cheap to go out and buy the appropriate bracket to mount your plate on your car. They just drill, you know, a dozen holes into it. It's so freaking stupid. It pisses me off. This probably isn't gonna do anything, but you know what? I didn't do this. Freaking hack jobs out here. It's now next day and we got the radio from our brother's car and like the various attachments for it. Just a complete rat's nest of things. Anyways, this radio, it's like, I don't know, he probably bought like the cheapest one on Indiegogo. I don't know where the hell he got it from, but he says no, it fits the car. All right, universal. And it's not really for the car, so spoiler alert, right? Doesn't fit too well, but what do you expect for 99 cents, huh? Anyway, so I've got the harness connected and I've gone ahead and soldered and heat shrinked the harness together with the adapter, but I've only done the actual like power, ground, and continuous power memory just to see if this thing turns on, because remember the original radio didn't even turn on. Let me close this door. The original radio didn't turn on, but before I pulled the radio out, I did check the fuse. Fuse was good, and I did check that we had power going to the original radio, which we did. So this should work. Turn the key. See if this turns on. There we go. So it does work. There was no wiring issue or fuse problem or anything with the old radio, just as I suspected, because like I said, we had power here at the harness. So it looks like it's working. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and finish soldering up all the wires and get all the speaker wires connected, and this piece of crap should be all set. So I got the rest of the wires soldered and heat shrink together, and I just want to confirm everything works and that we get music out of the speakers, and then I'll go ahead and wrap all of this up so it looks neat. All right, so this one does not have a CD player or anything. So I have a little USB stick right here with some music on it. It came out of my car. So if we plug this in, it should recognize it. And there you go. Now this is an old USB stick. I mean, I've had this thing for like 8-10 years. Music works. Alright, so music is playing. Let's check to see the memory is fine. We're gonna go ahead, turn the key off, and when we turn it back on, it should not do a complete reboot. It should start right up, right where we left this music. So key is out, and the radio did turn off. A lot of times when you see the radio still on after you take the key out, it means it's been wired up incorrectly. Okay, so it did turn off. Let's start it right back up again. Let's see if the music is right where we left it. And yes, it is. It's still playing right where we left off. So everything's fine. Everything's wired up correctly. And I could go ahead and make these wires look neat and put all this crap back together. So here we go. Put a little bit of electrical tape on it. And then I use some Tesla tape. It's like that fabric type of tape. Real nice. Makes it look nice and clean. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect all these harnesses back on the back of this panel right here. And put everything back together. Alright, so I got all the interior put back together, and this thing's pretty much ready to go. Everything works, and I don't know how much you paid for this radio, but I'll find out. The thing about these cheap radios is they usually work out of the package. They just don't last very long. They tend to break very quickly. So I don't know, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be working. It's not bad. The touchscreen seems to be responsive. It is what it is. But that's it. He's gonna come pick it up right now. Now this thing does come with a backup camera, but I did not install that because ain't nobody got time for that. He did not pay me to install this. He just kind of threw it in at the last second. Oh, by the way, here's a radio. Can you put this on? So this is what you get. What do you expect for 99 cents, right? The fact that everything works and it's done right, you should be appreciative of that. If he wants me to install that backup camera, I'll do it some other day. So everything seemed well, and my brother seemed to be pretty happy with the car, but about a week later he did this to the car. And off to the junkyard it went. And in case you're wondering, no, I never got the bolt back for the seat in my CRX. I think that's the real tragedy in this story.